the Monetary Policy Committee, that is MPC, met on 6th, 7th and 8th of June, and based on an assessment of the macroeconomic situation and the outlook, the MPC voted unanimously to increase the policy repo rate by 50 basis points to 4.90% with immediate effect. Consequently, the standing deposit facility, that is the SDF rate, stands adjusted to 4.65%, and the marginal standing facility, that is the MSF rate and bank rate, to 5.15%. The MPC also decided unanimously to remain focused on withdrawal of accommodation to ensure that inflation remains within the target going forward while supporting growth. The protracted war in Europe and the accompanying sanctions have kept global commodity prices elevated, and this is across the board. This is exerting sustained upward pressure on consumer price inflation well beyond the targets in most of the economies. The ongoing war is also turning out to be a dampener for global trade and growth. There are growing signs of a higher pass-through of input costs to selling prices. The MPC noted that inflation is likely to remain above the upper tolerance band of 6% through the first 3 quarters of the current financial year, that is 22-23. In this context, supply-side measures taken by the government in reducing excise duties on petrol and diesel, along with other measures, would help in mitigating the inflationary pressures to some extent. The MPC also recognized that sustained high inflation could unhinge inflation expectations and trigger second-round effects. The MPC therefore judged that further monetary policy measures are necessary to anchor the inflation expectations. Accordingly, the MPC decided to increase the policy repo rate by 50 basis points to 4.9%. The MPC also decided to remain focused on withdrawal of accommodation to ensure that inflation remains within the target going forward while supporting growth. It may be noted in this context that the repo rate still remains below its pre-pandemic level. According to the provisional estimates released by the National Statistical Office, that is NSO, on May 31st, India's gross domestic product, that is GDP growth, in 21-22 is estimated at 8.7%. This level of real GDP in 21-22 has exceeded the pre-pandemic, that is the 2019-20 level. On the supply side, major categories also surpassed the 2019-20 level. Available information for April and May indicates that the recovery in domestic economic activity remains firm, with growth impulses getting increasingly broad-based. Manufacturing and services purchasing managers indices, that is the PMI, for May point towards further expansion of activity. This is also corroborated by movements in railway freight and port traffic, domestic air traffic, GST collections, steel consumption, cement production and bank credit. While urban demand is recovering, rural demand is gradually improving. The contact-intensive services related to trade, hotels and transport have recovered in Q4 of 21-22. Going by the early results of our surveys, capacity utilization in the manufacturing sector increased further to 74.5% in the fourth quarter of 21-22 from 72.4% in Q3 of 21-22. So that is in the last financial year 21-22, between Q3 and Q4, the capacity utilization in the manufacturing sector increased from 72.4 to 74.5%. The next announcement relates to UPI, that is Unified Payment Interface, and their linking of the UPI to RuPay credit cards. UPI has become the most inclusive mode of payment in India with over 26 crore unique users and 5 crore merchants on the platform. The progress of UPI, in fact, in the recent years has been unparalleled, and its overall functioning has been quite exemplary, and now many other countries are engaged with us in adopting similar modes and similar methods in their countries. In May this year alone, about 594 crore transactions amounting to rupees 10.4 lakh crore were processed through the UPI. At present, UPI facilitates transactions by linking savings or current accounts through users' debit cards. It is now proposed to allow linking of credit cards on the UPI platform. To begin with, the RuPay credit cards will be linked to the UPI platform. This will provide additional convenience to the users and enhance the scope of digital payments.
हमारे चैनल को लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब जरूर करें और नई अपडेट्स के लिए बेल आइकन दबाना ना भूलें।